Hello and welcome to Catching Up with Carter here on Saddleback College Radio, 88.5 HT2, hosted by myself, Carter Kirchhevel. And today I am joined by a special guest who's here again in the studio. It's Giovanni Daniels, who is a media specialist. He does everything, I would say. Does editing, does some filming, does everything in between. So Gio, how have you been? How was your weekend this last weekend?
Dude, I've been great. I went to LA yesterday, went to the Angels game as well. It's been good, spending time.
That's awesome. And he's got the inside scoop now on the Angels. Of course, you got to see them today. So
Yeah.
we're going to be talking about the MLB and, of course, as well, sports news around the world. We're going to be starting off with college basketball. It's March Madness is just wrapping up. We have all the news about Cooper Flagg, about Duke, about the matchup that is happening in the final game in March Madness. So we'll be back after a minute break, and we're going to start off with Cooper Flagg. Hello and welcome back to Catching Up with Carter here on Saddleback College Radio, 88.5 HD2. And today I am joined by Giovanni Daniels here in the studio. And we're starting off with college basketball. It's March Madness season. We are basically done with March. Of course, it's still April, but March Madness is still going on.
That doesn't make sense to me, to be honest.
Hey, I mean, it just still goes on, the whole entire tournament.
But
it goes into
March
April.
Madness, April Madness, I mean, I don't know, whatever.
I'd say it's March and April Madness at this point because it just continues going into that. But let's go through. There was two games that happened this last week. Very exciting games. It was in the Final Four, and both of them were awesome. It was the Gators and it was Auburn, and the Gators, they ended up getting a win 79-73, which sends them to the final. And then as well, the game that I think everybody was watching instead of the Gators and Auburn game, which was Duke's game. And Duke, they ended up losing to Houston, and a lot of people were shocked by this. It was definitely a shocking game, 70-67 win, and really the only reason was because Houston had a 15-3 run at the end of the game, and they took their first lead in the second half with 19 seconds remaining in the game. So the matchup is now set. It is going to be Houston and the Gators. So both of those teams are great. But I want to start off with Cooper Flagg because Cooper Flagg, he missed the game-winning bucket in the game to basically win the game. As you see, it's 70-67 in that game. So 3-point bucket to try to tie it.
Every bucket counts.
So, I mean, it's tough. I mean, that is really tough to see. This kid who, is definitely going to be probably the number one pick in the draft, most likely, and he's missing that type of shot. I mean, it's tough. It's really tough at how young he is, young guy, and he even had a quote on it. He says, "It's the play coach drew up," Flagg told reporters after the game, "took it into the paint, thought I got my feet set, rose up, left it short, obviously. A shot I'm willing to live with in this scenario." So he says he's able to live with it. Obviously, he thought that he had the best shot opportunity in the game, but it ends up being a loss. So I want to get your initial reactions, Gio. Cooper Flagg having this game-losing shot. I mean, he had a great year. I mean, a great year for Duke. He brought this team basically to the Final Four, not by himself, but, with some help, but definitely because of him. Do you have any thoughts? Do you think this kid's going to do well in the NBA?
I mean, most certainly. I think he'll, perform very well. I think he has potential. And, it is unfortunate that you missed the last bucket of the season. That's the one that really matters, is the last one, of course. And, I guess all you can really do is just try better next time. Even though he's done great, obviously it wasn't enough.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, definitely that final run was the reason they lost. And there's actually another quote that I put in here.
Yeah, no, it was pretty bad. Like, I was watching the
15-3 run at the end of the game, right?
Yeah, I mean, the defense by, what was the other team? It was
Houston.
Yeah,
15-3
Houston, the
run,
Cougars. Yeah, they're playing like pretty lockdown defense for those last 5 minutes.
Yeah, they were locking them up, and I mean it's tough when you have that good of defense on the other side. You can't do much on offense. And looking at Duke's head coach, he takes the blame. So he doesn't even really put the blame on anybody. He doesn't put it on Cooper, which is great. It's definitely great coaching that way. He says, "I feel for them because they're competitive and they're going to think about plays." Shear said after the game, "I didn't help them enough. That's where my mind goes. I couldn't be more proud of them though." So the same me and Ray, who's not in the studio sadly today. We were talking about it was when UConn lost their coach, had the same type of, uplifting message at the end. Even after the loss, it's tough. I mean, for anybody, right? Being in this situation, you're in the Final Four. This is a lot of the times where these kids, this is their shot, right? I mean, a lot of these Duke guys are definitely going to go to the NBA, but there's some that aren't, right? This is their shot. So if you were in that situation, I mean, definitely it's tough in this stance, but I mean, where would you put the blame? Would you say coaching, or do you think it's a mix of both?
I feel like I'm going to not answer your question a little bit. I feel like the coach's response, I feel that's a pretty good default question, or like not default question, default response from the coach. I feel like blame can be placed among the whole team. It's not just the coach, it's not just the players, it's everybody. Even if Cooper Flagg missed a shot, I'm sure they had multiple chances. Like if they played against Houston's defense better, maybe they would have won. Because all they needed was just like 3 points. That's not that much just to come back. So you can't really blame that on just one person. That's like a whole team effort right there.
It is a team effort, and it's tough just thinking about it from a perspective of a college athlete, because I'm a college athlete here at Saddleback, and it's tough when you think you're there, right? Because Duke was thinking this is their chance, and a lot of people were thinking they were the favorites to win, and they ended up losing. And it's tough to see a team go down right at the end. They're there, they're ready. To go, they probably would have won the championship.
Especially
in my opinion,
Duke,
they could have.
Especially Duke, like they have big expectations. Like, don't they win like every year? Isn't that like the reputation?
They're one of the
have?
top teams. It was UConn these past few years, but when Coach K was there and he was coaching, it was always Duke. Up at the top. So they have that bar to hit, and they didn't this year. And it's tough. I mean, the bar was still there in the sense they made it to the Final Four. It's not like they lost really early. They weren't defeated by a 16th seed. This is another number one seed. Yeah. So it's still a really good team. But it's tough to it's hard because as Cooper Flagg, he's going into the NBA draft. He's going to have that in his head this entire time. I mean, if you think about it, any player is going to have that in their head for a long time. That's the game that decided it all.
That might be good for him. That might be like a chip on his shoulder. He might take that as motivation.
That's true.
In the NBA and become an absolute like powerhouse for maybe the Toronto Raptors.
You never know. For one of those teams, he could definitely be great. Cooper Flagg as well. He actually played against the USA Olympic team. They brought in some people. I saw some clips on TikTok and Instagram of him scoring on some really high talented players before even, declaring for this draft or even, of course, playing in this tournament. So he's definitely has the talent to go to the NBA. And as well, I put down, we have this whole news story about it. He wins the 2025 Naismith Men's College Player of the Year award. So he definitely has that award, and he's definitely worthy of it. There's a lot of different players that have also won this award. He's joining Joni Brome, Florida guard Walter Clayton Jr., and Purdue guard Braden Smith. Those were also the other finalists. But of course, he's joining some other players. Zion Williamson, I'm pretty sure, has also won this award, including Kevin Durant and Anthony Davis. So tons of people that you know and love, of course, in the NBA. We talked about all these guys. So he definitely is in the running to be a high talent in the NBA. And of course, he's an 18-year-old kid who's scoring 19.2 points per game, 7.5 rebounds, 4.2 assists, 1.4 steals, 1.4 blocks, and he shot 48.1% overall from the field and 38.5% from the arc this year. So I have down, where is this guy going to go? Because we have the draft order. This is a prediction of the first round, and it's Utah Jazz are the number one. Do you see any of the other teams that need him more, or do you think Utah Jazz are going to be the ones to pick up Cooper Flagg?
I feel like it could go any way between the Jazz and the Raptors because they definitely need someone at the 4 spot in Toronto. So I feel like either one of those two.
Those two can definitely have it, but I think, of course, the Jazz are most likely going to take him. I mean, they're most likely going to be that number one overall pick. If I've got the number one overall pick, I'm going Cooper, 100%. Yeah. No chance I'm switching off of going from Cooper Flagg. Such a great talent. Saw so many videos of him during March Madness. Saw him play so much, and just such a great talent. Even with it almost, of course, that final shot's going to be stuck in my head, and I think that's going to be stuck in his head, but I almost feel like these draft prospects or these teams aren't even going to think about it. I mean, there's no way they can think about it compared to his statistics.
Yeah, no, it's just I feel like I'm more concerned about how he's going to take it, because it is a little bittersweet to get the MVP of or not the Player of the Year for college basketball and then not even win the national championship. So I definitely feel it's bittersweet, but I definitely think that is motivation, and I feel like teams will definitely pick up on that.
I feel like this is almost like the World Cup. Adrian Alzamora is actually in the studio right now. He's doing some filming in here, but we talked about it on our show. I think it was 3-4 weeks ago or 5 weeks ago now. But we talked about Mbappe. He won. Was it the Ballon or the boot? You could say it here. What was
Ballon
the name?
d'Or?
The boot. Yeah.
The
so
boot.
he won the boot, and Messi, of course, won the World Cup, and He didn't win it. He scored 3 goals for the hat trick to bring it into penalties. So, I mean, it's the same kind of almost thing here. You know, Cooper Flagg has that same type of thing with this award and winning it without winning the whole thing. So it's tough, but at the same time, I don't think it's going to taint him at all in his NBA days. I feel like he's definitely going to do well.
He might lose aura among the children on TikTok.
He definitely, I will tell you, he might lose some aura on TikTok.
Unfortunate. That's important.
That is important, I guess, in this day and age. But I don't think the NBA prospects are looking at that yet into the aura.
Oh, well, yeah, for sure.
They're definitely not looking at it. So he definitely, I think, will go to the Utah Jazz. But you know what? Let's segue away from college basketball, going away from Cooper Flagg. We've got that final game. We'll talk all about that game after it happens this coming week. But let's talk about the NBA. And I'm going to start off with a little bit of a fun one to start off, a fun little question. Would another NBA title mean more to Stephen Curry's legacy or to LeBron James' legacy? Now, I know there's a lot of memes about LeBron and his legacy being tainted by random things. Of course, like, how is this going to affect LeBron's legacy? But this championship, if one of these teams can win it, which I don't think either of them are, who would be better to win it? Who needs it more, Gio, right away? Your thought. Who needs it more?
Well, I haven't done my research, but doesn't LeBron have more rings than Curry?
I'm pretty sure right now they have the exact same.
They
both
do.
have 4 rings. I'm almost certain. Let me research this here. But LeBron is, of course, his rings, he's up there. You know, yeah, he's got 4 rings, 2012, 2013, 2016, 2020. One of them was against, of course, my team, the Warriors, but 31 comeback crazy games there. But with Steph Curry, he's won 4 as well. So he's got 4 rings. He won those in 2015, 2017, 2018, and in 2022, basically by himself in that 2022 year. So who do you think really needs it more? In my opinion, you know, I'm going to say it right away, I think LeBron needs this more than Curry.
Okay, I thought you were going to say Steph.
I'm going to say LeBron needs it more. And the reason I say LeBron needs it more is because of the rings he got with the players he was playing with. I think Steph, of course, had his teams, like with Clay, Draymond, and Kevin Durant, all that. But I feel like it's been tainted with him jumping, right? Because he won 1 with the Lakers, 2 with the Heat, 1 with Cleveland. And I feel like for Steph, he's won 4 with one team. So I feel like if LeBron wins another one with the Lakers, it cements that he can do it even outside of the bubble. Because we know about the bubble back in 2020 when LeBron won his ring. Everyone was talking about that's not a real ring. We didn't play a full season. So I think it's LeBron who needs it. You have a thought different?
I think that your way of thinking is like something that I didn't really think of, you know, with like LeBron hopping onto different teams and winning rings as opposed to Steph Curry winning with just one team. And I kind of agree with you a little bit on that because I feel like staying with one team and winning that many rings is insane. Like that's pretty legendary than to just do it with like 4 different teams.
He is the best point guard of all time, in my opinion.
He definitely is, but I don't think he is the GOAT.
No,
and that's between
so
Michael Jordan and LeBron, and MJ has 6 rings, LeBron has 4. I feel like it's more important for LeBron's legacy to, you know, win more rings and try to get as many as MJ just so he can solidify that he's the GOAT, because he is, and the whole world needs to see that.
I love LeBron, even though I'm a Warriors fan. I love LeBron too. LeBron James, we love the guy. But LeBron himself, I feel like he definitely needs this ring if he wants to be in that contention. Of course, right now, I still think he's the GOAT. But at the same time, there's always the argument, 6 rings, 4 rings for LeBron. But at this moment, it looks actually pretty exciting because right now, I believe in the NBA playoff picture, the 3rd seed is going to be the Lakers, and the 6th seed is going to be the Warriors, and they are going to be playing each other in the playoffs right away.
It's pretty close. Like, the standings are pretty tight-knit.
They are pretty tight, so it can change. Right now, we're recording this on Monday, so if the standings are changed and it's not the 3rd, 6th seed, I apologize. But those seedings right now, it could be the last dance almost of LeBron versus Curry.
I hope not.
I mean, what I'm trying to say is that it might be the last time we see him play in the playoffs.
No, I know. Exactly. That's why I'm like, I hope not,
no,
because I want to see more.
Yeah, we always want to see more.
And,
but
I hope it's not in, like, one of the first rounds. Like, I hope it's in, like, the Western Conference.
It is the first.
I know, but, like, that's why I hope the seedings do change, because I want to see that at the very end. You know what I mean?
So
like,
fun.
If LeBron or Curry just wasn't in, like, the playoffs, like, if they got a first-round exit, that just would be sad to me, even though it is kind of, like, script writing.
It basically happened. It basically happened last year because the Warriors got knocked out. Was it the play-in last year, and then the Lakers were out pretty early too. They lost to the Nuggets, so I mean it was basically the same. But it's wild because Curry's 37 years old, LeBron is 40. these guys are definitely at the end.
These guys are unks.
They're unks. And it's just wild because both these guys, they both have good talent around them, but I definitely think the Lakers have more talent than the Warriors do. So if anybody's going to make a run late in the season, I think the Lakers are.
I think, though, like with the Warriors-Lakers game earlier this week or last week, I think it showed that the Warriors with like Jimmy Butler can actually.
They're doing great.
Yeah, they're doing great, especially with AD being gone from the Lakers. Like he was basically like the Warriors just like wall. Like they just couldn't get past that man. So now with him gone and having Luka on the Lakers, like it's not really looking too hot for LeBron, which is why I don't want them to match up because I'm a LeBron fan kind of.
Yeah, it's tough because with LeBron, right, he's got a team around him that they're younger, right? They are younger. Reeves is younger, Doncic is younger, and they've got a really young center in Hayes. I mean, he's a young guy who at this point is not great, I would say. He's okay, but he's not great.
He's serviceable.
He's not Anthony Davis.
He has problems.
Yes, he does. So it's tough. But you know what? Let's move into some Lakers positivity because the Lakers, they smashed OKC, like absolutely destroyed them in their game. And I want to read out Shannon Sharp's Twitter quote first. It was Lou Dort, Airport, Seaport, Taylorport, Lakers in 5. So just a funny quote there, of course, from Shannon Sharp. He does the whole Lakers in 5 thing. I always think about the whole one with SGA, PGA, USA, and Lakers in 5 because of this OKC thing. But I think they were mainly talking about Lou Dort because Dort was guarding, as you can see in this picture I showed you, Dort was guarding Luka a little bit, and Luka went off. 30 points, 6 assists, 7 rebounds. LeBron had 19 points, 7 assists, and then Reeves had 20 points and 3 assists. So this big three that we've been talking about a lot, they are really working together really well. And this is my biggest question right away to you is, does OKC have what it takes to win in the playoffs?
I think they do. I feel like the Lakers just really clicked because when they do really click, they perform outstanding. Like they're really good at playing basketball. But sometimes when they don't click, it's either like a really close game, stuff like that. So I think OKC, I still think they're the number 1 seed. I think they're fine.
Yeah, I mean, they're definitely fine. At this moment, they'll play a play-in team, most likely, the first round. But if we look back to their past playoff runs, they lost to the Mavericks. They lost to Luka. And so, I mean, it's like kind of the same thing, Luka against them. But they lost to Luka and the Mavericks with basically nothing. In my opinion, that team was way worse, of course, than OKC at that year. And OKC has continually, over and over again, been really good in the regular season, and then they just choke in the playoffs. And they're a young team. I'll give them that. But they're almost becoming like the Dallas Cowboys of the NBA playoffs for me because they're just they do that. The Cowboys are that team that goes 14, 15 wins, and they lose first round to somebody horrible, somebody that should not be there, and they lose. So if this happens again, which in my opinion, of course, the Lakers and Luka are not a team to just push away and say they aren't very great, but to be crushed like this, like not even really put up a fight in this game, 126-99, it's not a good showing. I mean, it's definitely not a good showing. And if we're looking at the playoff picture, I mean, the Lakers are the 3rd seed, so they're not like a lower seed, but we're looking at the other side. Cleveland's over there. They're doing pretty good in these past few games. Looking over there as well, Boston's doing well. The Warriors, of course, are an up-and-coming team. So I don't really have faith. Of course, now that I'm saying this, they'll be in the finals at the end of this NBA playoffs. But I just still, right now, it's still on my heart that I just don't believe in Shea and this team. For yourself, do you have any? I know you said that you're still thinking they're going to do well, but do you think Shea and this team, do you think they could go to the finals this year, or are they going to be knocked out second, third round?
I definitely think it's possible because, I mean, their game this whole year has been like pretty sharp, of course, aside from this Lakers game.
Yeah.
They have defense, they have Shea, they got Aura, they have everything that it really takes to be a good team. And, one bad game isn't really going to, I was going to say it wasn't going to define your whole season. It will in the playoffs.
That's the thing. If they have a game like this, it defines their whole season.
Yeah, but I still wouldn't count them out. I think it's just one bad game.
Okay, you know what? I'll be a little bit more optimistic. We'll see how OKC does. I'm just still gonna be a little less optimistic than you in the sense I'm a little scared. I'm a little scared about OKC and what they're gonna do. I definitely think the Lakers can make a run. A lot of people actually on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok have said no chance the Lakers are going, but I'm definitely saying that they have a chance. I think the Warriors have a chance. I do still think. I mean, OKC does have a chance, but I think one of those other teams that has more experience because. SGA in this team doesn't have as much experience as the rest. All right, so that is the end of our NBA college basketball segment. We're going to take a 1-minute break and we'll be back with the MLB. It was MLB opening day. Everything was super fun. I remember I was sitting on my couch, saw all these games go on, a Giants fan. We're going to talk about how good the Giants are doing. We're going to be talking about the Angels. We're going to be talking about the Dodgers. We're going to talk all about the NL West and, of course, everything else with the torpedo bat and some other signings. So we'll be back after a 1-minute break here on Catching Up with Carter here on Saddleback College Radio, 88.5 HD2. Hello and welcome back to Catching Up with Carter here on Saddleback College Radio, 88.5 HD2. My name is Carter Kirchhevel, and I'm joined today by Giovanni Daniels here in the studio again. We just talked about all of the NBA and college basketball news. Of course, we talked about Cooper Flag and all of that. If you missed out on that segment, make sure to check out my YouTube page. It's at Carter Kirchhevel, full name there. You can check me out on Instagram as well. We post clips and, of course, the entire show over there. So if you did miss it, you can check it out there. But right now, we're going into the MLB, or MLB, I should say. It's really been fun to watch the beginning of the Major League Baseball season. It's been really fun for me as a Giants fan right away. Of course, 8-1, top of the NL West. At this moment, we're recording on Monday, so if you're watching this later on YouTube or you're checking this out on Tuesdays from 4 to 5 p.m., might be a little bit different there. But right now, 8-1 on the year. So I just want to start there, kind of jumping up in our news. Do you think the Giants are contenders this year? I mean, it's early to say, but do you think they're contenders?
You know, the Giants always once in a while just have a really good season out of nowhere. And I feel like they know something. Every year they know something that we don't. Whether that's analytics or just spiritually, I don't know. They got something going on in there. Something's in the water. So I definitely think it's a possibility, but it is the first couple weeks of the season. So I think we should chillax a little bit, see where they're at in May, and then maybe, see if they'll be contenders then. But I don't think they were, playoff contenders last year. They kind of fell off towards midseason, but I definitely am a little hesitant towards them being contenders, but 8-1's a great start, so I'm not counting them out either.
It's a great start. I'm loving it. As a Giants fan, it has been super fun to watch back at home as well. We went on a great away stretch against the Astros, and then we also had a great stretch so far against the Mariners here at home. It's been great. As
an Angels fan, I thank you guys because those are our two offs.
Hey, it's been great. The Giants have been playing great, and it's been fun to watch everybody. And going in as well, like our starting rotation at pitcher has been great. Justin Verlander, Jordan Hicks, Landon Roop, they all have an ERA over 5.0 to begin the year. So they have all been doing great. Offensively, Heliot Ramos, Wilmer Flores, and Matt Chapman, they've done a lot of the heavy lifting. And Jung Ho Lee has also been great in the outfield. It's just been so fun to watch the Giants this year. Of course, I'm really hyped right now, and this could totally go away in a few weeks when they're 500 again. I don't know what's going to happen. Giants are that type of team.
Like I said, the Giants do this every 3 years, it feels like, where they just gather a bunch of scrappy guys who, have a little bit of juice left in the tank, or maybe they're young and, they have a really good season. So I'm definitely excited to watch some more Giants.
No, I'm excited as well, of course. But you know what? Let's jump over to the main rival. We got to jump over to the main rival, into the Dodgers. But let's start off with Shohei Ohtani now. So let's get into Ohtani because his pitching return amid Dodgers star elbow injury. Of course, he had that elbow injury this last year. And it looks like right now, the Dodgers, they're being intentionally deliberate with his process coming off a second major elbow surgery. Rosenthal said during Fox broadcast on Saturday, the goal to get Ohtani ready for the postseason. Do we see Ohtani pitching during this regular season a lot or just a few times? What are we thinking?
Please, I want to see him pitch so much. If he could go back to the schedule he was working with the Angels, I think everybody in baseball would be cheering because we all want to see Shohei pitch. We all want to see him hit on the same day. Those were the glory days. That's what we love Shohei for. And his personality too, and his looks, and everything. I don't know.
Everything.
Sorry, let me not get too too lost in that. But I definitely think him pitching. We want him to pitch as much as he can. So I feel this is a great process from the Dodgers to really settle him in and make sure that nothing gets messed up again. Because please God, I don't want him to get injured.
Yeah, because he's continuing to recover from his second Tommy John surgery. You know, he threw a 25-pitch bullpen session on Saturday, this last Saturday, so it's looking promising. I mean, of course, everybody wants to see Shohei pitch and hit.
Yeah.
Everybody does.
And I'm also curious because I'm pretty sure they tried a new Tommy John surgery.
I think it was. Yeah.
And so I'm definitely interested to see how that turns out and if that, changes baseball within the next 10 years where you can just get a Tommy John surgery and then be back just the next year, as if it's nothing. So hopefully it's something cool like that because that would, help the sport a lot with pitchers not getting injured as much.
Yeah, so it was while the surgery repaired the UCL tear, it was not a standard Tommy John procedure, but rather a repair with an internal brace on his arm. So totally different. Hopefully it works. Of course we want to see him pitch and not have any issues.
Yeah.
And we don't want him to have surgery because then he can't play.
And hopefully it's not sketchy because everyone's so suspicious of this because they've been so mysterious about it. They're just yeah, we did this surgery with a guy. Don't worry about it.
just across from somewhere else,
They're he'll be back in a week. Don't worry about it.
But of course, it's really fun to see. Of course, myself as a Giants fan, even Shohei, I love watching Shohei. No matter who you're rooting for, you can't not see the talent in this guy. It's always fun to see.
Just kills me every time. That's basically my ex. You know that, right?
I know it's your ex, from the Angels, but imagine if the Angels had both Mike Trout and Ohtani on the same team. I couldn't even imagine it.
Next, just go on to the next topic.
Okay, let's go on to the next topic. All right, let's go into torpedo bats because this has been a big talk during the beginning of MLB season. So, are they absolutely good for the MLB? I want to get your initial thoughts right away. What do you think about the torpedo bats? Are they good?
I think, okay, so the torpedo bats are a little bit different. Yes. And they add a little bit of advantage. And I think that little advantage is definitely something that we would see initially, which is what happened with the Yankees, on opening day or opening week, they just completely crushed Nestor Cortez. They had four home runs
in the first 5 pitches or something ridiculous like that.
Yeah.
So fun to watch though. Can't lie.
I definitely think that's a fun introduction to the torpedo bat, and it definitely grabbed a lot of eyeballs onto, the torpedo bat because I don't think anyone's even heard of that thing until, that game.
Yeah.
So I personally think it's just a gimmick. I think it might have a little bit of advantage, but I don't think that advantage is significant enough. I feel once people get used to it, torpedo bats aren't really gonna, Plus, I don't think Aaron Judge even uses a torpedo bat.
He doesn't need it.
He doesn't need it. It's just for players who need I don't know, a lighter bat.
Yeah.
So I think it can help some players, but really it's just use a normal bat if you want to. Just use the right bat.
Yeah,
that's really.
And
all.
then Michael Schmidt, he also had a quote on it. He said, "They're absolutely good for baseball. I believe that the issues like the torpedo bat and the debate around it demonstrate the fact that baseball still occupies a unique place in our culture because people get into a complete frenzy over something that's really nothing."
Yeah.
At the end of the day,
that's how I feel.
The bats comply with the rules, so they comply with the rules. There's no rule breaking here. They're fun for baseball. I feel like it's fun for baseball. Yeah. People that I talk to, they're like, baseball's not fun because it's just boring, watching nothing. With this, there's more hits. I mean, of course, there's longer hits. There's faster hits. There's people that are swinging more, which is the point of baseball. This is the point of why we watch baseball. We want to see dingers. Come on.
It also makes me want to own a torpedo bat as well. So it makes
I would love it.
Right. And I feel like maybe this is just a whole big marketing scheme by
maybe it's a whole thing.
And you know what? I'm eating it up.
You know what?
Give me a bat.
I love it. I would love to go out just at a ballpark local. Let's go hit with the
Dude, I'm down.
bat.
Let's hit the cages.
You know what? Me and Gio are gonna hit the cages after this with the
We'll make a
bat.
montage, a video montage of our highlights.
We'll put it in. Okay, let's go into something else. Let's move over to a signing that happened. And it's Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Blue Jays reportedly agreed to a 14-year, $500 million contract. There's been multiple years of trade rumors, and the Toronto Blue Jays have reportedly reached an agreement on this new contract. $500 million puts him up at the 3rd spot for highest paid players in the MLB. Does he deserve it?
I mean, it really depends on what year you're in. In the year 2025,
does he deserve it in the year 2025?
Maybe in 2030. I feel like if this contract was 5 years from now, I feel like, yeah.
So you think 5 years? Why is that?
Well, just because inflation's, or not inflation, but
money keep going up.
Yes, that's what I mean. But I think he is not worth $500 million currently. I think he's had a great season last year, and he's been a great player, and he's shown that. But he hasn't really consistently been a great player over the years. He's had a couple off seasons, but it's been promising because last year obviously was good. This year he's having a good start as well. So maybe this is something that will hopefully pay out. But it's really difficult when you send 14 years to a Major League Baseball player who isn't that athletic. Because when he entered the league, he was a little chubby. Let's all be honest.
A little bit bigger.
And he looks way better now, but I don't know, when they get into the later parts of this contract, it might be a little hard to watch.
I think it's almost the same, though, for me with the Ohtani, those years, too, when we first saw it, right? Isn't it a 10-year, 2 years with an 8-year deferral?
Long. Yes.
And so there's no deferral here. So there's totally different type of look at it, of course. So it's 14 years, and there's no deferrals. There's no of that, $2 million for this many years and $68 million for the rest. So.
Yeah. Well, the Dodgers are just ultra rich, so they could probably just afford the deferral. They know that they could afford the deferrals. The Blue Jays, they might not know where they're going to be in 30 years.
That's true. That's definitely true. But yeah, I'm okay with it. To be honest, I'm totally okay with Vladdy getting his contract, getting the $500 million.
Hey, yeah, good for Vladdy, but
good for him.
I'm gonna just say see you in 10 years because these later years and these contracts are gonna be a little hard.
Yeah, just looking through it, let's go through the kind of the top. You got Juan Soto with the New York Mets, 15 years, $765 million. Ohtani, 10 years, $700 million. Vladdy, 14, $500 million. Mike Trout, your boy, 12 years, $426.5 million. Mookie Betts, so you got two Dodgers up here, 12 years, $365 million. Go to the back, you got Aaron Judge with the New York Yankees, 9 years, $360 million. You got Machado for the Padres, 11 years, $350 million. Lindor for the Mets, another Met, $341 million for 10 years. The Padres, 14 years, $340 million for Tatis. The Phillies, Bryce Harper, 13 years, $330 million. These are contracts that are so high, and that I'm going to segue it into our last point here. MLB owners reportedly agitating for salary cap as players bracing for a lockout. Negotiations on a new collective bargaining agreement for MLB are shaping up to be just as contentious as you'd expect. Owners already are agitating for a cap. The Athletics are reporting on this, of course, on Monday. Players already are bracing for a lockout. Commissioner Rob Manfred all but promised when the current collective bargaining agreement expires after the 2026 season. It's not as though this would set the next round of CBA discussions apart from what has transpired in the past. Owners around MLB have unsuccessfully pursued a salary cap for years. The 1994 season ended in mid-August because of a strike, and the 2022 season was delayed by a lockout. Are we thinking it's going to finally happen? Are we getting a salary cap? Looking at these contracts, they're getting upwards of $500 million for Vladdy, $765 million for Juan Soto, $700 million for Ohtani. Is there a need for a salary cap in the MLB?
As a sports fan who's only watched baseball, so I don't have any idea of a salary cap whatsoever, I don't really see how it's really necessary because all these expensive contracts are from teams that can pay these. Like the New York Mets, Steve Cohen is their owner. He's a billionaire. The Dodgers, they make the most money in the league, I'm pretty sure. Either that or the Yankees. And yeah, the Yankees as well, they're also top two in finances. So, I don't see why a salary cap will be needed. If anything, like a salary floor, because some of these teams need to start spending more, like the Athletics, which they have been. And I don't know, this kind of disheartens me to see because, the lockout in 2022 was pretty annoying to deal with. That whole offseason, there was just no news, nothing about baseball. It's all just, about money. And I don't know, as a fan, it kind of just, it is annoying.
Yeah, I get it. I totally understand. And I think that's true. It's just tough because these teams that don't have the money, for example, like the Twins, their owner doesn't put as much money in. The Athletics, same thing. They don't put as much money in. It's hard for those teams to compete compared to, of course, the NFL is one of those sports that has 32 teams that all have the same exact salary cap. They all spend basically the same amount. Some of them don't pay as much, but at the same time, everybody has the same amount. So I could see a salary cap helping, but it also would just hurt players, I feel like. We talked about it. Of course, these lockouts are going to hurt fans and as well players because they're not playing the game that they've been paid to play. So I don't know. We could see another lockout. We could also maybe see a salary cap finally being put in place. You never know. But America's pastime, I think it'll always live on. I don't think we're ever going to have any problems.
I hope so. It all depends on the owners.
It all depends on it. And I think you're totally right in the sense there should be that price floor, right? These teams need to pay this much money. Like there needs to be a minimum amount that they need to be paying players because then they can bring in other talent and that just brings more money for players in general. I think that's just the positives in all of it.
And I mean, there's also, with like teams spending so much, there's also like budget taxes, which goes to, luxury taxes, obviously, which go to poorer teams, or not poorer teams, but like teams that don't spend much money. So I definitely think there should be a salary floor. I don't know about a salary cap. Maybe people with other perspectives have a, better take on this. But yeah, I don't know. I just don't see it.
I don't see it happening either. But, that's just how it is. And you know what? We're going to segue into something about money. We're going to go into some pop culture here. We've got about 5 minutes left of the show. And we're going to first start talking about the hit movie, the Minecraft movie. You know what? We're going to talk about it here because, it's been all over the news. It's been all in talks. The Minecraft movie has smashed at the box office, $163 million domestically, $150.7 million overseas, for a global debut of $313.7 million for the Minecraft movie.
That's just insane. In America right now, we're going through a depression, okay? All of us are going through a depression, and we all need an outlet. And right now, that outlet for us is a Minecraft movie. And it really speaks volumes on our society that we need to go to things like a Minecraft movie in order to, be happy again. What happened to the world I loved?
This performance makes a Minecraft movie the highest grossing video game adaptation movie opening of all time.
Deserved.
Of all time.
It's up there with LeBron.
It's up there with LeBron.
Yes.
Now, that's the memes talking right there. But it's funny to talk about because, of course, we're talking about all baseball and all this money. But a Minecraft movie is making $313 million and could be on track to make $1 billion.
Yeah, I mean, it's really just about how it was marketed, like...
Memes.
And it became memed.
Memes.
And that's really what launched it, But it's also, like, the Minecraft movie, like... we gotta pull up to the Minecraft movie.
I feel like all of Gen Z is pulling up to the Minecraft movie.
That $360 million, man. We just started working. Like all that money is going towards that.
All the money is, and I mean, it's kind of funny because we're talking about memes and like we talked about the torpedo bat and like all the news and I feel like there are memes about it too.
Yeah.
So the memes around it are what's building it. And that's really what built the Minecraft movie. There's memes that were all around TikTok about Jack Black's lines, and I mean that was one of the biggest things, the iconic lines.
Yes.
So that was one of the biggest things, that the reasons why it did smash so hard at the box office. And I mean, I just can't. Watching the movie myself, the plot is like a 1 out of 10, and the actual movie, like the memes, are a 10 out of 10. It is.
Don't say
it's
that.
It's a 1 out of 10.
I haven't watched it, but it's gotta be the best movie out there. Don't say that.
It's funny because it's I think the highest grossing opening of 2025 for movies.
It's probably the Minecraft. Yeah, I believe that. 350 million is a lot. That's a lot of money in a weekend.
In a weekend.
That blows my mind. We really hilarious. America really is depressed.
Hey, it is what it is. It's how it goes. The Minecraft movie's funny. I mean, I'd say almost watch it because it is funny. It is a very funny movie if you know the memes, if you've seen them online.
Dude, I gotta watch it with like a packed crowd. Like that's what I want. Crowd.
There's even news stories about there were the police called on theaters too because people were chucking popcorn and drinks and all this stuff. So just craziness.
To any like movie workers out there, I apologize. I hope you guys are doing well. You guys are basically heroes, okay? I want you guys to know that. So thank you so much for your service. Thank
you so much because there are some crazy people out there for the Minecraft movie.
Yep.
You know what? That is the end of our show here today on Catching Up with Carter. Thank you so much, Gio, for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, we had some fun talking about the Minecraft movie, but of course, we talk about the MLB, the NBA, and college basketball. Giovanni, do you have any final words for the listeners and the viewers maybe here over on YouTube?
We'll see you guys next week. Catching Up Carter.
Catching Up with Carter. Thank you so much, Gio. Thank you so much, of course, with Adrian for his help again today here in the studio. Thank you so much, of course, as well to the CTVR staff that always gives a lot of help.
And rest in peace to Ray. He is missed, but we will see him soon.
He's not dead, guys. Ray will probably be back in the studio. But thank you so much for listening again here on Catching Up with Carter, here on Saddleback College Radio, 88.5 HD2. We've got a few songs for you. We've got Hijack, Came in It, and at the end, we've got one more song after that, Small Worlds. So we'll be back, of course, next week on Tuesdays from 4 to 5 p.m.
And now, folks, it's time to say goodnight. We sincerely appreciate your patronage and hope we've succeeded in bringing you an enjoyable evening of entertainment. Please drive home carefully and come back again soon. Good night.